Abraham Joshua Heschel, a Polish-born American rabbi, said this: our goal should be to live life in radical amazement, to get up in the morning and look at the world in a way that takes nothing for granted. Everything is phenomenal. Everything is incredible. Never treat life casually. To be spiritual is to be amazed. In our rotating themes for the month that we're following here, December is the path to wonder, on the path to wonder. And it makes sense that December would be this because we have the song Star of Wonder, Star of Light. We see the deepening darkness and little twinkly lights that are lighting up our neighbors' houses. Perhaps you've already got you've got your lights up at your home. The wonder, the joy of being near a fire, a cozy fire in the fireplace, the unbelievability, the incredibleness, the wonder that we have heat in our homes, the wonder of technology all around us, that people online are able to be with us in the room, and we are able to be with you. There is wonder everywhere, and let us not take it for granted. So I want to spend a little bit of time talking about wonder, where I think wonder and awe. I'm using those two words interchangeably today. I think they may have a little bit of distinction, but for today, I'm using wonder and awe together. Explore what some other communities have said about it, and what science says about wonder, and how we as people who think of ourselves as scientific thinkers, not particularly mystical thinkers. I think most of us in this room look on ideas of the supernatural with a bit of a jaundiced eye. And because we do that, we have let go of in some ways, our ability to cultivate wonder. And so I want to talk about the miraculous, the wonderful, as not just reductive, but when we cultivate it, we do something that is instinctively human. So that's where I'm going today. I want to start, I like to bring you a book to read. And I'll start with this book that I've been reading called See No Stranger by Sikh American writer and activist Valerie Kaur. You know this book? Oh, it's so good. I learned about it in a class, and I really am taken with it. Valerie Kaur, 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 See No Stranger, is a memoir and a manifesto of revolutionary love. Kaur is a daughter of the Central Valley of California, where her family has farmed for over a century. So they are a longtime American family from immigrants, like many of us in this room, right? She grew up with an extended family, including her maternal grandfather, Papa Ji, who told her ancient stories, as she says, a long, shimmering history, that long path of people behind us, a long, shimmering history that spans centuries from India to America, and ended with me. I love that. It came all that way to this moment, and of course will extend out from her. Here's what she says. I'll say kind of a longish quote. My favorite was our origin story, the origin of Sikhism, the story of Guru Nanak, the first teacher of the Sikh faith. You understand what I'm saying? S-I-K-H, Sikh, right? 5 centuries ago, the story goes, halfway around the world in a village in the Punjab on the Indian subcontinent, there lived a young man named Nanak. He was deeply troubled by the violence around him, Hindus and Muslims in turmoil. One day, he disappeared on the bank of a river for 3 days. People thought he was dead, that he had drowned. But Nanak emerged on the 3rd day with a vision of oneness. Ik Onkar, oneness, the oneness of humanity and the world. This vision threw him into a state of ecstatic wonder, and he began singing songs of devotion called shabads, praising the divine within him and around him. In other words, he was in love. Love made him see with new eyes. Everyone around him was a part of him that he did not know. That's a theme she returns to again and again in the book. Everyone around me is a part of myself that I do not yet know. What a wondrous way to look at the world and to break down stereotypes and factions. If we were to see everyone at the grocery store, in the doctor's office, at the farmer's market, at the concert, at the gas station, at the polling place, as someone we do not yet know. Guru Nanak said, I see no stranger, I see no enemy. And he taught that everyone could learn to see the world in this way, that there is a voice inside of us called Humai, it's a Punjabi word, the I that names itself as separate from you. The I that names itself as separate from you. It resides in a bowl that holds our individual consciousness, but separateness is an illusion. And when we quiet the chatter in our minds through music or meditation or recitation or song, the boundaries begin to disappear. The bowl breaks. For a moment, we taste the truth, sweet as nectar, that we are part of one another. Joy rushes in, and long after the moment passes, we can choose to remember the truth of our interconnectedness, that we belong to one another. We can choose to see no stranger. I'm still quoting Valerie Kaur. When Papaji was humming the shabads day and night, he was not praying so much as practicing a constant communication with all things. It was his way to remember this truth. He was rehearsing his wonder. And here's the Shabad. Wondrous are the forms, wondrous are the colors, wondrous are the beings who wander around unclothed. I think he means animals by this. Wondrous is the wind, wondrous is the water, wondrous is the fire which works wonders. Beholding these wonders, I am wonder-struck. O Nanak, those who understand this are blessed. Papaji would say, Wahiguru, Wahiguru. It was our word for God, but he would say it throughout the day like a deep breath. Wahi is an expression of awe, and Guru is the light that dispels the darkness. So even God's name was an expression of wonder at the divine around us and within us. So for those of us who do look with often a jaundiced eye on anything that's supernatural, we are, for the most part, naturalists. And you know, I've talked about religious naturalism, that everything is connected from the smallest quark to the outer reaches of the universe, and all of it is worthy of awe and reverence. Rehearsing this, calling forth awe and lightness is a birthright. It is part of what it means to be human. It need not live only in the realm of the supernatural, of miracles, of that's how we explain what we don't understand scientifically, right? That's, I think, what we've said about ancient people who wrote scriptures that have come down to us as the Older Testament and the Newer Testament, explaining some miracles of how the world was created. These ancient people had no understanding of science, and so that's how they told stories. And so we can, if that's true, then we can discard those stories and not think they have anything for us. But to appreciate what is unbelievable, phenomenal, miraculous, is instinctively, deeply human, and is not just the province of ancient, superstitious storytellers. You see, am I making that connection? It's clear in my mind, but I want to make sure I'm making the connection here. You don't have to be religious to be open to wonder. You only have to reclaim a sliver of what you once knew as a child. Wonder comes easily to children, right? And so part of our job as adults is to reach back and claim that childlike wonder. I'm interested in what's happening in the brain when we experience awe and wonder. You all know that my husband Mike is a neuroscientist, now retired, and so I'll often go to him, usually at 10:30 at night before I come out here the next morning, and say, Mike, tell me what happens and what's happening in the brain. And bless his heart, it's in our house when Sophia was little, she'd say, we're going to Google Daddy. So it's a little Google Daddy, right? And so he comes with his brain model upstairs, and he'll say, now look, it's right here. So he'll do his hands like the brain and show me that. And so there is a place called the insula, right, which is in the fissure right here. And for a long, long time, scientists weren't able to study it because you couldn't get to it. You took this model of the brain and kind of opened it up a little bit so you could see where it is. And then it's also deeply connected to a lot of blood vessels. And so no scientists could really get in there and work with it because of the possibility of bleeds and so forth. But now with magnetic fMRI, functional magnetic ray imaging. If I got it right, Charlie? Resonance, fMRI. They are able to study this area called the insula, which does a lot of things. It's related to addiction. It's related to several different things. But what happens when awe and wonder are lit up is there is a decrease in what's known as the default mode. That is a decrease. The default mode keeps us pretty self-centered. We're going through our day, we're getting things done. It's related to our executive function. We're getting some things done. But when we are in the presence of something that invokes awe and wonder, it decreases our attention to self and increases our attention to other and the world. It's actually something that happens that says the world is less about me right here and more about connectivity. So it's just a little prune-sized place in your brain. But when you are engaged in awe and wonder, something is actually happening. The experience of goosebumps is related to this. You've had that. That may be an experience where you kind of get a tingle about it. The more that we practice awe and wonder, cultivating awe and wonder as a life practice, you might say spiritual practice, the more we are able to reduce our focus on self and be connected to the world, which of course leads to love, leads to compassion, leads to allowing us to see no stranger, that you are a part of me that I do not yet know. Wonder is Valerie Kaur says, wonder is the wellspring of love. So if I am to say, I wonder what will happen next, curiosity is aroused. Curiosity is open. I wonder what will happen next. What could I replace that verb with? I dread what would happen next. I know what will happen next. I anticipate. There are several things that you could say when curiosity is not present. But I wonder. It feels different in my body to say that. There is a somatic relaxation with wonder that I find really compelling and that I want to cultivate. Dacher Keltner, who is a researcher at the University of California at Berkeley, Dacher Keltner began his work at the University of Madison, and Mike was there at the same time. And I got to know Dacher a little bit when he was there. And so he's this, so there's a little bit of playing to type here. My husband is a nice Jewish boy from Brooklyn, the son of union organizers. And here he was studying aggression. And Dacher is the son of countercultural hippies, California boy, and he was studying happiness. So they were playing a little bit to type. But Dacher, I was listening to a YouTube presentation that he did, and actually, when you send out the survey, I'll send a couple of notes from this talk, including this link to Dacher's talk. But he talked about awe as including vastness. If you've ever had the opportunity to see the Milky Way, or to be among the sequoias, or be in the mountains, or see the aurora borealis, or many of the things I'm sure that Gail talks about in her book, to experience and see a sense of vastness, that invokes awe and wonder. And it is a particularly human quality. Dacher points to Greek philosopher Protagoras, who said that among the things that make us human, language as we practice it with complex language with meaning making is particularly human. But as far as we know, the ability to appreciate awe and wonder is distinctively human. If other creatures can do this, we don't know that. So that may be something that makes us distinctively human. So we have this sense of vastness and a sense of transcendence. Our Unitarian forebearer, Ralph Waldo Emerson, writes this about in his book, Nature. In the woods, we return to reason and faith. There I feel that nothing can befall me in life, no disgrace, no calamity, which nature cannot repair. Standing on the bare ground, my head bathed by the blithe air and uplifted into infinite space, all egotism vanishes. I become a transparent eyeball. I am nothing, but I see all. The currents of the universal being circulate through me. I am part and parcel of God. The name of the nearest friend sounds then foreign or accidental. To be brothers, to be acquaintances, master or servant is then a trifle and a disturbance. I am a lover of uncontained and immortal beauty. I am one with all that is. He was a leader in the thought movement of transcendentalism. That's the transcendent moment. So awe lifts us into a transcendence. So I think we science-oriented, reasonable, rational people dismiss the miraculous at our peril. It need not mean that something supernatural is twiddling the dials in the lab. We need to be able to rely on scientific experiments and the laws of nature that connect us in that long line. And in that, there is still that which lifts our hearts and sparks us in ways that we can't quite explain. So this morning I'll close with this. This morning on my drive out, I was looking for the wondrous, the miraculous. I love the drive out here. I was also looking at the road, but it was quite clear, so it was good. And it wasn't until on Highway 8, I descended into the valley, and several of you said this. And what was it about the exact moment of the pine trees between me and the sun, the exact time of day and temperature that I happened to be coming, just turned my eyes in that moment and saw the hoarfrost glistening on the pine needles. And there's one part of aesthetics to say, oh, that's beautiful, that's lovely. But deeper still is the wonder that I should be present in this exact moment and turn my eyes at this exact time to see the beauty that is around us all the time, and especially right there. I want to cultivate that wonder and look for it every day. The wonder of connection over the miles, the wonder of creating community together, the wonder of softening and opening our hearts as a birthright, the wonder of seeing no stranger and being in love with this beautiful world. So be it, and see to it.